Hey y'all, it's Jen, and today I have my book review of How to Be Bad by E. Lockhart, Sarah Milanowski, and Lauren Miracle. This book is about three girls who have a loose friendship or acquaintance, and they decide to go on a road trip together. So during this road trip, they discover things about each other and about themselves, and they use those discoveries to grow as people and as friends. So this is definitely a character-driven story. It is about a road trip. There's not a lot of plot there though, so not a lot of action, so it's definitely a character-driven story. Typically I like character-driven stories, but I don't like these characters. These are told in alternating chapters by alternating points of view, and it starts off with Jess, who I found to be the least likable character in this book. I didn't care what became of her because I didn't like her. She represented the kind of the mean girl of the group. She was judgmental and jealous, and just overall I wanted to slap her. She didn't take any consideration her mom or the other people around her. She was horrible to Mel for the most of the book, and she was very selfish. It was all about her. Granted, she's got some issues going on in her personal life. I understand that she's trying to work through those, but she was just awful and not a very likable person, and I didn't like her. The second chapter, you start with Vix. She was an okay character. I still didn't really like her, but she wasn't as horrible as Jess. She was dealing with a boyfriend who had gone off to college, and they were in a long-term relationship, and being the baby of the family where all of her brothers have gone off and done their own life, and she's kind of left behind, and she's kind of ugly about it. She's snotty and downright mean in parts of it. She doesn't make wise decisions. She kind of pushes other people to make stupid choices, and overall I didn't care for her character either. The third chapter is Mel's point of view, and she was the character that I liked the most of the three. She was the character that had the most personal growth throughout the book. She is the rich girl that everybody takes advantage of, and and Vix and Jess definitely take advantage of her. But Mel is okay with that because at least they're talking to her, and at least they're friends, at least acting like it. I really felt bad for her because she was the one that was kind of overlooked in all of her, with her family and with friends. So, but like I said, overall she was my favorite character. By the end of the book, she was more self-aware, self-confident, and she stood up for herself a lot more than at the beginning of the book. So her character was my favorite of the three girls, but I still didn't care for them at all. The back of the book has a little bit of information about how this all began, and you can see that it's written by three different authors, and there are three distinct girls in here. And so the book was actually written, each girl was written by a different author, and they would write a chapter and pass it to the next one, and then write a chapter and pass it on to the next one, and they did that for the entire book. I do think that as far as the writing style in that situation goes, you would expect it to be kind of choppy, but it really flowed really well. The story wasn't disjointed in any way, even though it was three different authors writing it. They all just kind of picked up where the last one left off, and even the voices of the other characters that were written by the other authors still were true to the characters written by their original authors. It was a little slow at times. I did end up reading this in full in just a couple of days, but I really sat down and did nothing but read this book for 2 days just to get through it. I was reading it as part of a traveling book. This is my copy. I've already sent the traveling book on, but I was already kind of at my limit to have it, and I needed to get it read and passed on, and my thoughts written down for it. So I did just kind of push myself through this. There weren't any necessarily dead parts in it, but there were parts in it that I just wanted to roll my eyes at it. And it maybe because I'm almost a 40-year-old woman reading about some stupid 17, 18-year-old girls' adventure, but they did some stupid stuff and made some stupid choices, and it just kind of annoyed me a lot. I don't have a quote from the book for this one. There weren't a lot of good ones in here. There was a couple that I did highlight, and I will link Julie's video on the traveling book when she does her review of it, because she will read our quotes and our thoughts of the 5 of us that have read this in the traveling book, and what all we thought about it. Rating and recommendation of this book: if you like contemporary, young adult, teenage girl contemporaries, I'd say give it a shot. I've read better contemporaries than this. My rating was just a 3-star rating, and that was probably being pretty generous of it. I really didn't like the characters, and I really didn't like the story. There were some good parts, there were some funny parts, and like I said, Mel really kind of showed growth throughout the story, but Jess and Vix really didn't. So I wasn't real satisfied with their adventures and what the premise of the book was supposed to do on this road trip, and what the girls were supposed to accomplish on this road trip. All in all, How to Be Bad, character driven, not very good characters. The writing style was pretty good. 3 stars, and that completes my review on How to Be Bad. Until next time, bye.